Today I wanted to talk about the Year of the Snake, which comes tomorrow along with the new moon. The last time we were in the Year of the Snake was 2013. And I had a realization today about the last time we were in the Year of the Snake and what was happening in my life. There are many cycles that we go through, and a 12-year cycle. The year of the zodiac is, each animal comes every 12 years. And I was looking back at that 12-year cycle, and truthfully, 2013 was the beginning of my shamanic path. And I left the Mormon Church in 2011, and those first 2 years of being out of the church, I really went into a deep dive of Mormonism and then a deep dive into Christianity. And by 2013, I had left both behind and was searching for the next right thing to come into my life. So I don't think I was even aware in 2013 about the Chinese New Year, the significance of it, and the significance of the Year of the Snake, and the symbolism of the snake. But I did have a very profound, life-changing experience in 2013 as I was just starting this search for what's next in my life. What are my beliefs now? Because I've left Mormonism, I've left Christianity. I kind of felt like this blank slate, and I just had my youngest child at that time was a year old, and so I knew that portion of my life, motherhood, raising children. At that point, I'd had 11 pregnancies and 8 live births, so my motherhood journey as far as reproducing was over. And that had been my life's purpose. Like, I knew I was going to be a stay-at-home mom and raise children. And that part of my life was over. So it was a very significant time as far as my religion was gone. My sole purpose in this lifetime was kind of fulfilled. So I was left feeling very just open and vulnerable and unsure as to what my next right steps should be. And I had a very, you could call it a dream, I would call it a vision. It was an experience out of body with the snake in 2013. I was initiated onto this shamanic path just through this vision, this dream of a snake coming to eat me. It devoured me, and it was terrifying. I will say, when I took my ayahuasca, had my ayahuasca experience, I also had several experiences with the snake, the archetype of the snake, and being eaten and then birthed again. But this was the first, and I knew nothing of the archetype of the snake. Shamanism, I did not know. I hadn't started my energy work journey. This initiation was truly the first step on my path. After I had shed my skin, after I had shed my old belief system of Christianity and Mormonism, especially, once those were gone, like I said, I was a clean slate. I was this open book and just ready to be imprinted on. And that's when this initiation of the snake took place. So the snake, I remember seeing it come towards me, its mouth open, and it had a huge row of teeth, fangs. And I knew it was inevitable. Like, I could not get away. I knew that I just had to surrender to this experience of whatever was going to happen with the snake. And it bit me, and slowly I was devoured by it. I was consumed by this snake. But I went into like a womb space within the snake and was taught. I was shown things. And then I was birthed from the snake. That also happened, repeated with ayahuasca, but with a very, very different snake than the first one. And I remember once I was free of the snake again, and she was coiled up right beside me, and I could like look at the snake a little bit better than when it was attacking me. It was just fear. After I'd been birthed by the snake, then I was in awe of the experience. And the snake was not hostile anymore. It was very like sweet and loving is the feeling that I got from it. And I'm looking at it, it was an albino snake. So it was white, and the pattern design on it was kind of a golden yellow. So it was this, I wouldn't say albino because its eyes were not pink. Her eyes were like a rainbowy color, all colors. So I wanted to reach out and touch the snake. And as I did that, the scales turned into fur. And I think that was a way of her expressing meeting me where I was at. Because snakes were something that I was fearful of, and then to be devoured by one, it started out as a very terrifying experience, and then turned into a very beautiful experience once I surrendered to it and just allowed it to unfold. So as I reached out to touch the snake, its skin turned into fur, and I remember just being in awe of this ability to shapeshift and for it to know my what I needed from it. It was meeting my needs where I was at, and that I was just blown away by that experience. And I knew nothing about shamanism at the time. I knew nothing about the significance of the snake and the symbolism, but I just knew I had been through something very, very profound and powerful that I would never forget. And that was 12 years ago, coming up in the next month or two. And then 6 months later is when Reiki came into my life. And then channeling spirits. Within 6 months, by October of 2013, I had channeled a few letters from close relatives on the other side to family members here on this side. And that was a gift I didn't even know would be possible, because with my Mormon brainwashing, females aren't allowed priesthood power. Females aren't allowed to have this special connection to source, creator, creatress. Only the men hold that power. So it was very at the beginning, it was so beautiful, and I was so excited channeling the message. And then I did have some self-doubt, because it was a gift that I, growing up, never thought I would be capable of, or it was just a beautiful experience. And the first person that came through was my grandmother, who I share in my book. I talk about my experience with my grandmother. She came to me while I was pregnant with my last child. And in fact, maybe that is my true first initiation, was my experience with my grandmother, because she was truly the first spirit that came through to me in such a beautiful, incredible way. So I just wanted to acknowledge where my first initiation took place, and that was 12 years ago in the year of the snake. And here we are again. It got me reflecting on the last 12 years and how far I've come on my shamanic path and the things that I've learned. Snake is now such a powerful medicine to me. And so, back up. January, right after the new year, I got severely ill. I don't know what it is that's going on. It wasn't COVID, it wasn't the flu, but it was a horrendous illness. And I'm still suffering a little bit of the cough. The cough has lingered and my lungs are not back to normal. So anyways, I was very ill, and for about 4 days, I was just in and out of fever dreams, and mostly in the fetal position on my bed. And I did have prophetic dreams at that time while I was in the depth of sickness with this illness. And I think for me, one of the reasons it came that way was because I was such a clear channel. Even though my physical body was sick, I had stopped taking food. I was just on water. And I was so vulnerable and open. I was able to be shown things without resistance to it, without me trying to make logical sense of it. The LA fires, I saw that. And of course, I didn't know about the fires at the time because I was in this illness. I was in this state of, I couldn't look at my phone. I couldn't watch the news or anything. So I had no idea what was going on in the world. But I was shown the devastation of fire consuming the city, and I didn't know at the time it was LA, but I was set down in the midst of it, and I was shown it. And then I was shown at another time the state that America is going to go into because of AI and because of the surveillance that they will be doing on us. I was shown the technology. I was shown how it was going to affect people just living their everyday lives. And that part was terrifying. I was shown the drones, these drones were man-made drones, and they were a part of the surveillance and control of the people. That I feel like is within the next 2 to 3 years, the vision that second vision that I had. And then the third, there were some very personal visions, things that I was shown, things that I needed to do different in my personal life. One of them was my addiction to the phone, addiction to scrolling or social media or just playing games, how that is a way of numbing myself and tuning out so my gifts cannot come through as clearly as they could if I didn't do those things. And I think that's how a lot of addictions are. We mask our gifts, we mask our trauma, we mask things we don't want to see or remember. And I was just shown for me specifically how I'm doing that to myself. Because there is a fear now I've done just to truly step into my power and step into my gifts and to share that. I can see how I've been numbing myself and not being fully ready to take on the gifts, and to do the things that I've been asked to do by Spirit. So the year of the snake, shedding my skin again, shedding my past. That was one of the reasons why I dyed my hair to red. It's kind of a strawberry blonde. Hard to see maybe on the camera, but the gray, I loved my gray hair, and it was beautiful. I believe it was beautiful. I loved my crown of white, but stepping into especially this next 7-year cycle, I felt like I needed the physical, and I was shown this too, a physical marker from my past to my present to my future. And so the coloring of the hair was a way of symbolizing the last 5 years, especially from COVID, and the habits that I created because of COVID and because of the lockdown. That is behind me. And no more numbing to my gifts, to dampen my gifts. No more numbing through alcohol, food, especially food, TV, just binge watching shows, playing games on my phone, scrolling, social media, all of those things that I've been doing to avoid feeling and seeing what's next, or feeling and seeing what Spirit wants to show me. So the changing of my hair was a big deal for me, because in 2020 I shaved my head. Like, I took all my hair off to grow that out. So it was that when I wrestled with Spirit for a little bit, like, do I really have to shed that to go forward? And for other people, the answer would probably be no, you don't. But for me, the answer was yes. Like, you have to let that go. This is a defining moment, marker, and especially for the next 7 years, because I see this Trump presidency and the turmoil that America is going to go through. It is not going to be done in 4 years. I know people are saying, hang on, 4 more years, we can turn this around. No, we can't. No, this is a destruction. Yes, to create something in the future, but it's not an immediate future. The other thing I was shown, the age of Aquarius. For me, I have a very specific date for when the age of Aquarius happened, but a lot of people have their opinions on when that took place. And I have a beautiful, beautiful shamanic teacher, Linda Starwolf, and she has a brand new book called The Aquarian Shaman, which I love, and I've been reading this. But the idea of we are stepping into the age of Aquarius and everything is going to change. And yes, that is true, but you've got to realize that there are at least 100 to maybe 200 years for this transition period, and destruction has to happen. Old patterns and old ways of being have to be destroyed and have to be crushed, so to speak, in order to bring in the new. It is a cycle, and we are right now on that bridge between the cycles, between Piscean and fully stepping into the Aquarian age. According to what I've been shown, what I feel, we're only just like 4 years down the road into this. We've taken baby steps onto the bridge, but we are not across the bridge. We are not fully into that Aquarian age. Although I know lots of people have opinions about that. For me, 2012 was like the marker of the end of Pisces coming to an end. And then the last 12 years that we've been through since the year of the snake has just kind of been laying this foundation for us it's been guiding us to the bridge that we are now stepping onto. And I feel like that's going to take maybe, like I said, 100 to 200 years to get across the fucking bridge. That where we step fully into the the Aquarius, the age of Aquarius. That's what I'm trying to say. So, yeah, I think that's all I wanted to share right now. It's gone on longer than I thought I would talk. And next time I'm going to share a little energy work going forward for the year of the snake, setting an intention to shed what is no longer serving, shed those beliefs, habits, patterns, addictions, and then calling in what you want to accomplish, what you want to bring forth, what you want to birth in the next 12 years. Okay, thanks for listening. Thanks for just having a space for me to share my voice. I do appreciate it. Namaste.